Good evening and welcome to the this month's weekend presentation. It's photographs as a powerful tool to educate road safety. We have with us one of our newest members, Jayalath of Civil Engineering at University of Peradeniya. Jayalath, I think is the expert in this area, and especially on the he has done his research in road traffic accidents and traffic congestions, and currently and also he has a BSc in engineering and M engineering, also a PhD from Ehime, Japan. He has got a diploma in road safety from Lund, Sweden. So I think he has got qualifications to support this topic as well. He has spent his time in educating on this subject of road safety using photographs. And as we have started doing weekend presentations, Jayalath volunteered himself to do this presentation because he has done several exhibitions in Kandy as well as in Colombo. And also in many of the, he had done certain public seminars especially with the government institutions. So the three exhibitions that he has done is one in E.S. Nayaka Library in Kandy, and also the other one at National Arts Gallery in Colombo, and the third one at the University of Peradeniya. So he has displayed some of his work at the Jayalath Kirula and also at the National Hospital. In fact, last week, he shared with us that some of his photographs were selected for the exhibition at the National Hospital. They had an exhibition and they shared his photographs, exhibited his photographs as well. And also, apart from that, he had contributed to a column in Nagvima newspaper, and also he has shared his photographs on that column. Now, photography is for Jayalath is a hobby, and also the main reason for him joining our society is to learn from each other as well as to network with the like-minded people. Jayalath shares with us that the other area that he likes to spend time is the public speaking, which he has done, I think, with so many institutions. And I'm sure today's presentation is going to be an interesting one because this is the first time we are having a presentation on this topic. I'm sure that all our members will have many comments and questions to ask from you, Jayalath. And without taking much time, I will now give the floor to you to make your presentation. Over to you.
Thank you, Shamini. Good evening, everyone. I consider this as a great honor and privilege to talk to a new group of experts. I have never done a presentation like this to a group of professional photographers. All my presentations for school children or academics or professionals working in other fields. So I request you to look at my photographs as a photograph from a novice, and you may not see a beauty of it like the photographs I have seen in your presentations during last few sessions. In fact, I joined, as Shamini said, your group, or can I say our group, now I'm also part of it, to learn photography from you all. I was looking for a society closer to Kandy, I heard there was one, but I couldn't find an active member of that. Then I saw a notice of PSSL and applied for it. And I had to send some documents to prove that I'm interested in photography. And I got involved in it. So the topic given to me, or actually, when I saw one of the thankful to COVID-19, I said, I have some collection of photos and I'm interested in sharing my ideas and my experience. And most important, to appeal to everybody to be safe on road and to understand your responsibility for road safety and traffic accidents and traffic congestion. So this is the topic given to me, photograph as a powerful tool to educate road safety. So two key words in this session is photographs will be used as a main theme, but in other presentations, photograph only supporting material. And my appeal is for road safety. When I say road safety, it can be accidents, can be congestion. Before entering into the presentation, let me give you some statistics, little bit of statistics. If you are not an expert of this subject or if you have not heard about it, according to the latest WHO records, we lose 1.35 million valuable lives per year because of traffic accidents. And if you calculate per day, it comes to 3,700. Just think how many jumbo jets falling onto the ground, killing 3,700, which is not really alarming. The next alarming factor is another 50 million injuries. Don't mistake it as 5 million, is 50 million injuries happen due to traffic accidents. So it is a hot topic and it is a responsibility of everybody. Yesterday, I got DIG Ajit Roy to talk to our students. He's a good friend of mine. We used to work together. And according to the latest records, we lose 8 valuable lives per day in Sri Lanka. We lose 14.2 per 100,000 people. The world average is 17.2. We are a little below the world average, but we are not the best. And 90% of most of these accidents, both traffic accidents and congestion, happen due to human error. Shamini, can you hear me? Is my screen clear?
Yes, very clear.
Okay. Can I continue in this mode?
Sure.
Okay. So 90% of accidents and congestion happen because of human error. When you say human error, it is not only drivers, it is all kind of road users. Of course, drivers come to the top of the list, and pedestrians and professionals, politicians, policemen, parents, all are responsible for this. So I have a campaign through my Facebook also to be safe on the road. Safety is a right, safety is a responsibility. So among road safety experts, we have something called 4E concept to control traffic accidents and congestion. This 4E start from, it's not because of my profession, I took engineering first. And we need engineering applications like designing of roads or bus holes, junctions, etc. And then the next E comes for education, public awareness. That is why I thought of sharing my photographs and my knowledge and my experience and my interest, most importantly, with you experts in photography about our responsibility on road safety. And the third is enforcement. Of course, we need law enforcement. Even if you have good roads, even if you have education, if there's no enforcement, the effectiveness will be less. And then encouragement. Encouragement means to encourage good habits. So one of my expectations of my photo collection is also that. And why I joined this subject? I think I didn't tell you when I gave my introduction, my PhD is on a totally different subject. My PhD was on landslides. I finished my PhD in 1994 and came back to Sri Lanka. Within 1 month, I met with an accident. The way the police handled this accident given me a hint. It's an interesting area to work, and probably I should be able to give a better contribution than landslides because there are enough landslide experts in this country. So I started collecting data, carrying out research, etc. This was my first digital camera. It's not exactly my one. I downloaded this from the web to find where it is. I bought this in 2000. Before that, I had various other cameras. This is 1.3 megapixel If you have used a digital camera of this nature, you may know you have to put a floppy disk. And then one day, I was invited by National Transport Commission to do a consultancy work about public transport system. We interviewed and we did analysis for 10 districts. And finally, I had to do a presentation at the NTC headquarters. So during the presentation, it was coordinated by one of my good friends. I think she should be here. I sent her the invitation. Namalisi Balapitiya, she's currently the director of planning in RDA. Those days she was working in NTC. Looking at the photograph, she said, "Why don't you do a photo exhibition?" I laughed and said, "Who am I to do a photo exhibition? Do you think people will like my photos?" And most of the photographs I showed during that presentation was not my one. Most photographs of my students, plus of course my ones. But I took it seriously after that because of her appealing. And I did the first exhibition in Kandy. This was my Kandy photo exhibition. I did not expect it to be so, can I use the word successful? There are a lot of people, and I found uh, they used to spend at least 1 hour or 1.5 hours analyzing each and every photograph, where the location is, whether I'm there, whether I'm also doing that mistake. And then this is the governor at that time. And this is part of the visitors came to the exhibition because of that success. Again, normally invited me to take it to the Colombo. We had an exhibition in Colombo National Art Gallery. So that is my involvement. You may know him. He's Dr. Ajit Pereira. He had this problem because of an accident. It's not a traffic accident anyway. So there were a lot of people, and that encouraged me to look at little more on photo applications. After that, I started taking photos. And then I was invited to write 2 newspapers. This was one of my column articles, as Shamini mentioned. I wrote a series of articles for about 3 years. And after becoming the head of the department, I became extremely busy. I could not get involved with any of this, like TV appearance, etc. So that is my background to this subject. So let me, first of all, show you some accidents. These are few accidents I captured. Don't ask me what is the focal length, what is the aperture, etc. Because most of these photographs, I think, candid photos. The term I heard from your last presentation is, there's no time to think, there's no time to plan. When you see a photo, you have to take it. When you see an incident, you have to take. So I appeal you to look at not the beauty of it, the message of this. This was accident night by a very powerful person in Kandy. And actually his son was driving in the night with an excessive speed, and he hit in a, can you see a part of a concrete pole, and he toppled, and the concrete pole fallen onto a motor bicycle. The 2 motor bicycle riders, rider and the pillion rider, critically injured. And it was in the night. Some people drive in the night thinking there's no hazard. And this bus accident captured in Nittambur around 7:30 in the morning at a high peak traffic. He was fighting with another bus, and they were competing on the road, and ultimately ended up with an accident like this. So competition is very bad on the road. And this is very close to my home. This is Peradeniya Gampala Road. Again, this person was overtaking at the bend. While overtaking, there was a vehicle coming in the opposite lane, ultimately had to escape like this. So the competition is very bad on the road. And this is another accident I captured at Peradeniya. Now, this is a bend. Those who did the physics may remember the centrifugal action. When you drive on a bend, always you have to slow down. Otherwise, the centrifugal action will act on the vehicle and it will topple or it will imbalance the vehicle. So this is a very good example to show the front part is the prime mover is ahead, but the latter part is stopped. It is probably because of the centrifugal action. So very often we used to inform drivers, educate drivers, when you're driving on a bend, you have to be careful. You have to be slow down. If not, it will end up with a serious problem. Right, in traffic, we call a group called VRU, Vulnerable Road Users. What do you mean by vulnerable road users? Those who are more vulnerable on the road. Now, this is one of the most attracted photographs in my photo collection. This was taken in front of Peradeniya Teaching Hospital. I was doing a study for Peradeniya Teaching Hospital. So I was waiting there, and all of a sudden I saw this bus overtaking this bus in front of a pedestrian crossing. And this bus was, this bus was waiting not for pedestrians to cross actually. He was waiting, he was waiting for pedestrians to come and get into the vehicle. So you see now there's a pedestrian getting into the bus. She's a pregnant lady, and this bus is overtaking, and the other bus is stopped in front of pedestrian crossing. So many mistakes happening on one place. So it's a typical photograph to show how our driver behaves and how dangerous it is for pedestrians. And this one taken in front of Tolangumu Central. Again, I was invited to do a study about frequent accidents in Tolangumu school. If you remember Tolangumu, it is between Kegol and Ambepussa. That has 1 kilometer stretch straight. Very often drivers used to speed up during that section, assuming they can catch up all the time lost in the winding road, which is not true. You lose time. So this one taken in front of the school, after the school, can you see these small children running so eagerly to bus? So that running feature captured my interest, and so immediately I took a photo. And again, most attracted photograph in my collection, not in the angle of photos. You can critique or you can criticize. You can give a construction criticism for me to think and capture next time. And then this is again to show how important buses are. This is a broken down bus. And can you see people waiting for another bus so eagerly? Can you see the facial expression of this person? It's not very clear. I think I took this photograph while traveling. My driver was on the driving seat. So when I saw this was the conductor. It's a conductor. And they were eagerly waiting for the next bus. Just in the morning hours, probably they may be going to office. So, and then the next, this one. I said we lose nearly 2,800, 3,000 people. And among them, nearly 6% of people die while getting into bus or getting off from bus. So we need to think about this seriously. In many countries, if those who have traveled abroad, you should know, the buses, public transport buses, always run with the doors closed, other than countries like India and Pakistan and Nepal, etc. Most of the economically developed countries run buses with doors closed. So again, I was in the passenger seat. I saw this bus was moving. The bus was moving. This passenger got in while it is moved. I hope from this action you can guess how hard it is. He is trying to balance this. So I thought, in addition to educational aspect, this may have some pictorial beauty also. So after all, pedestrians and passengers are in the group of vulnerable road users. And it is not only because of pedestrians' mistakes, it is the mistake of the law enforcement in this country also. So this is one good example for that, competition on the road. This bus was competing with another bus. This is taken in front of Gatambe. This bus was competing with another bus. Actually, the other bus was behind. So my interest was to capture this person. This was the second conductor of the bus. His body is away from the vehicle. He's trying to guide, asking other vehicles to take out for them to move forward. So that competition end up with a lot of accidents. And this is another good image to show the competition between private buses and CTB buses. It is a double line. Those who have driving licenses should know, you should consider double line as a wall in the middle of the road. You're not supposed to cross due to any reason unless you are driving an ambulance or fire brigade vehicle or a police radio car. No other is allowed to cross the double line. So public transport is a good solution to traffic congestion, and public transport is a good solution to traffic accidents also. But in our country, it's not happening like that. Those who are in Colombo may know, we started a concept called bus lane. In many countries, bus lane is introduced to facilitate bus drivers, to give the bus drivers a special lane. So they prefer using bus lane. But here in our country, police have to force bus drivers to go to bus lane because here bus lane is implemented for some other reason. Again, another incident, bus is moving and this passenger trying to get into the bus while the bus is moved. And this is an image I captured again in Peradeniya. A bus, don't think it is trying to take off like a plane. While the bus is on move, the rear axle was moved from the vehicle, and it crashed like this. Just imagine if there was a pedestrians, if there's passengers in the footboard, what would happen? So all these photographs were used to educate public, to show them true public transport is important. True, we should promote more and more public transport, but we have to do a lot more to develop public transport, in which you should have a responsible role and responsibility. If it is an NTC control bus, I think number is 1959. Anytime you can call and inform. Right, among vulnerable road users, three-wheelers is one group. Again, this was a candid photo. I was on a vehicle. I saw this small child, this small one, and the driver's seat. So I took a photo to show that the small child is in the driver's seat, which is very dangerous in a vehicle like this. But after putting to the computer and observing, I noticed father's hand is here. This is father's hand. I hope you can see my mouse moving, which means at this time, this small child should be riding the three-wheeler. So how see how hazardous it is. And all these are happening not only because of their problem. Another photograph captured close to Peradeniya again. Yeah, I saw this writing. I have a huge collection of photographs with interesting writing like Sittola Metmal Pibideva. But this chap is pushing this motor bicycle. I hope it is not the driver who is pushing it, probably the passenger in the rear seat. So because of this movement, we had to follow him without having adequate space for overtaking for quite a distance. And then they should understand how dangerous it is. And is again another one taken almost close to Colombo, I think, Kalani area. Again, I was going in a vehicle, and the passenger in the three-wheeler is carrying a glass sheet. Glass sheet is here, right? And it is so dangerous. He's putting it to the passenger side. It's putting it to the middle of the road. If he is kept in the other side of the road, it may be slightly safer. But how many things can happen? So this was also in a newspaper. Anyway, the last one of the last ones for three-wheelers. This one I captured in very close to Matale. This three-wheeler fellows carrying a motor bicycle like this, probably broken motorcycle or something. This fellow had to overtake, and even we had to go behind for quite a distance, since overtaking was so dangerous. Now it is your responsibility to think why it is happening like this. This was in Polonnaruwa. A large number of school children, or kindergarten children, probably taken to kindergarten, and we stopped the vehicle and asked why it is. And this fellow said, this little one is the daughter of the driver, and he's carrying about 15 small children in a three-wheeler. And this was close to Kakirawa, a three-wheeler and a push cycle. This little child is probably getting the support of the three-wheeler to have an easy ride. But just imagine if anything happened to this three-wheeler, what will be the fate of this child? And this is in Kandy. This in Kandy, I had to go quite a distance following him to get a good shot of it. Can you see how high it is? I don't think this driver know the concept of center of gravity. That when you have large items like this, its center of gravity goes up, and with that, the toppling possibility increases. There's a heavy chance of fall in this vehicle or toppling this vehicle if anything happens because of the center of gravity. And then this was at Kiribatgoda, and I gave this photograph to put the flyer also. This passenger carrying, I think these are conduits. Now, how it is happening in this country? Is this the problem of the drivers or three-wheelers or three-wheeler passengers or the society? I always argue it is because of the society. part of the society, including police, for not raising your voice. So that is why I do frequent lectures, frequent presentations, requesting all of you to take action. This one I captured in Bangladesh. Uh, well, I saw various things in Bangladesh, but this is something I appreciated in Bangladesh. This is in Dhaka. Their three-wheelers should have doors in every direction. So it prevents carrying items like this. I don't say this gives a safety to three-wheeler drive. When I put an article to saying it is safe, many criticize saying I do not know the crash worthiness, etc. I of course know what is crash worthiness. Now this one, my intention was to show how important to have a close environment. So part of the body or part of carrying items will not come out like this, and that will enhance the safety of the three-wheeler drivers. And motorcyclists. Motorcyclists also comes under vulnerable road users. This was a photo I captured in Kegol, close to Kegol. This fellow is carrying a banana tray. Motorcycle has a special ability to squeeze through very small, narrow areas. But when you have things like this, how can they go? Most importantly, how can they balance? And this was taken in Gold Road, and this fellow was carrying a large timber plank. Of course, it was asbestos sheet or something. And I asked my driver not to overtake, to experience how the difficulty he was facing, right? Even one of his legs is out like this, not both legs are in the pedals. And I found it was so difficult for him to balance. Obviously, when the rider is riding fast, because of the wind pressure, it can topple. And I found so many police officers on the road. He passed so many police officers, but without having any problem. And this was close to Kegol, somewhere in the morning hours. Probably this adult may be taking, there are two children here. I don't know if it's quite visible. It does not focus properly. I did not have time to focus. I just want to take the photograph to show. It is a bend. Can you guess? Can you use and get an idea from this one? It's a bend. It's a double line. And only the adult, probably maybe the father, is wearing a helmet. None of the children wearing helmets and overtaking at bend. How dangerous it is. So that is what I try to do through photo exhibitions. I did quite a number of photo exhibitions about, I mentioned only 3 photo exhibitions. Actually, I did little more than that. I don't consider other photo exhibitions as such exhibitions. But my photos were displayed in various places, very specifically at Diaticurula, where many people visit. And as Shamini said last week, National Hospital displayed 80 numbers of my photographs for the public. And what is the responsibility of general public? Now, always we inform drivers. When you educate drivers, we used to say, expect the unexpected on road. Expect the unexpected on road. Don't think everything will come positive for you. This is a road section between Peradeniya and Katugassata. This road is called Guhaguda Road. That road has a steep bend. And very often, loaded lorries find it difficult to pass that section. This is one such situation. I saw a huge congestion and walked up to that place. I found this lorry seems to have found it difficult to proceed. So there's a stop here. So all the other drivers are passing, overtaking, and it was a congestion. It had quite a congestion because of that. I used to pass that road place quite frequently. I took a photo like this. Can you guess? This is the same place. It is the same place. This lorry also seems to have had a problem like that, and it reversed automatically. And fortunately, it didn't hit anywhere. The same vehicle. And this is another situation, same place. So what is important, it was taken somewhere in 2007. What is important to educate drivers is always expect the unexpected. Be a defensive driver. Don't expect others to do good for you. And then this is called negligence. From 2000, the government started giving the number plate printed by the government. Because of various issues, many people used to drive without a number plate or using a fake number plate. But even after issuing the government number plate, it's not happening so smoothly. Can you see part of the number plate is missing? You should have broken, but there's no any disturbance, any problem from the law enforcement authorities. And this is another situation I noticed. Probably it may be a learner. And if this is the first lesson learner going to get, what will be his future? What will be his behavior in the future? So those are little things we should not neglect. This is another typical problem. Even if the number plate is fixed and there's something obstructing it. Can you guess the authority, the organization of this vehicle? Some letters are visible. P, O, and visible. C, O, C, E also visible. That also not quite visible here. So if the responsible authorities also behave like this, how can we expect the normal drivers to behave well? And this was again a candid photo in the morning. Can you see the facial expression of this? Probably the assistant, may not be the driver, right? When the police stop, there's no any education value of it. But because the facial expression, I thought it may be good because we see this kind of situations very often. We recommended to government not to allow heavy vehicles to ride on roads during busy hours. In overseas countries, all these vehicles are allowed only during off-peak hours. The vehicle I showed earlier, these two may not be the same. I cannot remember exactly. And this is after Kegol. This was close to Nelundine. So I don't think it is the same vehicle. But what I wanted to show you here is because of this vehicle and because of the terrain of the road, many had to follow at a very low speed because this drive also couldn't go at a suitable speed for other vehicles. So always we should be mindful about that. If there's time permit, I thought of showing few photographs I've taken to show the importance of some road safety structures. These are called reflective road signs. You can't see anything on the road, but the road signs are visible. So we should protect these facilities. And this was all of a sudden captured photograph in Colombo. I saw this little child. So I thought of taking a photograph. Or that after that only notice the color of the door is different. Probably this might have had an accident. So just imagine if that child was there at the time of the accident, what would have been the fate of that child? So in other countries, children are not carried like this. Children should be taken in a proper child carrier, not in the front seat. So there are so many things to educate. So finally, a few photographs I brought from abroad. This from Sweden. As Shamini said, I did a diploma in Sweden in a city called Lund. Lund is supposed to be one of the safest cities for cycle riders. And there's another city close to Lund called Malmo. Malmo is famous for pedestrians. Anyway, I was in Japan before that, but the facilities at Sweden was different from the facilities I saw in Japan. So I was fascinated with the safety concepts they have. And they have roads built for all kind of road users. Can you see a wheelchair rider here? And then a young couple carrying a small child in a pram or in a baby cart. And their facilities are supported like this. All the infrastructure also. There's a ramp. If you go in Sri Lankan roads, you won't find ramps like this in many places. So pedestrians, forget about wheelchair riders and forget about these baby carts, etc. But even for pedestrians, the facilities are not up to the expected standards. This was taken in a city called Khulna in Bangladesh. I could simply imagine how this bicycle carrying this kind of large logs of trees. So I took a photograph. There's no any education value of it. I don't know whether it is a pictorial value of it, but I was amazed to see how they are carrying it. So I just took a photograph of it. And then I thought of comparing it with the photograph taken in Norway. This is called bicycle sharing. It is a new concept started in few countries. It is popular in few countries like China. I saw it in China. I saw it in Malaysia, in Japan, and Norway. In few countries, here the cycles are kept in specific places. You can unlock these cycles using your mobile phone, use a QR code, and then ride and leave it in a proper dock, and then the bill will come to your mobile phone. So new things are happening in the world. This is again a comparison between Dhaka and the city I studied, Ehime, that is Japan. It is not only the infrastructure facilities to make the traffic congestion worse. See the number of trishows. The Dhaka is a trishow city. I had to work only from 9 to 4 o'clock. After 4, I used to carry 2-3 cameras and go to a high floor building and just capture photos left to right without thinking too much. It is not only the infrastructure facilities, it is mainly the driver behavior also. See the discipline of these drivers, or everyone one after the other. So we should ask from our citizens what kind of country we like to live. Probably the last photo taken in Japan. You may know congestion is not only because of number of vehicles on roads, it is because of inadequate parking facilities. I did a study in Kandy recently to check how many vehicle parks are provided facing main road, leading the vehicles to reverse to main road. It is one of the major contributory factors for congestion. So because of that, I decided to show this photograph. This car park also facing a main road, but they cannot reverse to the main road. They always have to use the proper exit and the entrances here. So we should educate our policymakers also. And then the road signing and marking. See how beautiful they are. We don't have this kind of, probably we'll have with the election. Other than that, we don't have road signing and marking like this. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is all what I picked from my photo collection. Always I used to do presentations using photographs. This time I use my stories to support all the photographs. I'm open for any comment, any critique, any criticism, any constructive criticism, and most importantly, the suggestion for me to improve my photography ability. Shamini, that is all what I prepared. I hope my time also up.
Thank you, Jay. It's a very informative presentation, and also the photos that you have shared also quite good. So let's get our members to comment on them, and